Well, this is another beautiful day, and it's a Monday morning. As always, we're right here live on this beautiful radio station, Grace Impact Radio. And we will be bringing you very interesting episode of the show this morning. And I can assure you that what we're here to do today will help you a great deal. Today's show is very deep, and we will be sharing those deep thoughts together as we progress. And so today, I want to talk about something that affects everyone and affects you and I most importantly. And these are some of the things that if you take them for granted, perhaps you may just be lagging behind. And so you see, the truth is we don't all experience life the same way. Two people do not have the same experience at a time in life. They could be in the same city, they could attend the same program, same event, meet the same people, but hey, it doesn't always happen to them the same way. Yeah, some of them could be in the same organization, work together as colleagues, and ultimately, it still doesn't happen the same way for everybody, right? And that's why I want to talk to you about what I'm sharing this morning. So the question is why? Why does it happen that way? Why is it that one person consistently discovers opportunities while the other person sees obstacles? What's the reason for that? What's the cause of it? What really happens? Is it that the other person is lucky, or is it that the other person has got connections or is much more privileged than the other party? Or is it perhaps something else that we've not really understood, right? But more often than not, I have found this out of over time. That the difference lies in something deeper. And that is what I want to talk about today. Again, it's about how you communicate. It's also about how you position yourself. But the most important thing is this episode is about what I call the opportunity mindset. That is what we're talking about on the show this morning. The opportunity mindset. Right? This is something that bothers me a lot. And I've seen a lot of people struggle. And I wonder why. And so when I did a deep dive into the research and studies and finding out what causes that gap, I decided to talk about it on the show this morning. Because you see, if you check carefully, you would notice that today, this will be the the penultimate Monday in the month of June. And if that be the case, that today is the penultimate Monday in the month of June, it simply says to you that at the end of this month, which will be on a Tuesday, the first half of 2026 is gone. And you know what first halves mean? It means that you just have another half left. And if you take stock, you would find out that perhaps you may not have achieved much. There's certain things you had prayed and hoped for. They're not in your hands yet. And that would begin to worry you. And that is the reason why we need to look at the opportunity mindset on the show this morning. And yes, we're going right on into the deep dive of the show this morning. We're talking about the opportunity mindset. This is very interesting. Now, many people imagine that opportunities will arrive and make an announcement. Hey, hello, everybody, I'm here. I am opportunity. It doesn't happen that way. No, not at all. But you see, opportunities show up in disguised format. They come in form of conversations. They come in form of relationships. You meet somebody, you have the conversation, you try to build a relationship, and that is opportunity looking at you, but you may not recognize it. And you need to be careful with that relationship. You need to be careful with that conversation, because that is opportunity staring you in the face. Sometimes opportunity comes in form of problems. So you just find yourself in a situation where there's a problem to be solved and everybody else is backing out. Everybody's saying, I cannot do it. I don't have the wherewithal. I don't have the capacity. And you are saying, I think there's something I can do here. Let me give it a shot. Let me try. That, my friend, is opportunity looking you in the face. And so you step in and try to solve that problem and you get it. Eureka. That becomes an opportunity that you have created by solving that problem. Sometimes, too, opportunity shows up like an assignment. You're asked to do something. You feel that it's just usual work, but that might just be an opportunity. Let me tell you something about that. I have someone very dear to my heart, close to me, who was given an assignment to do a job in the office space, and a few other persons were selected, and this person in question was made the head of that assignment to lead the team to handle that assignment. Now, the person did the assignment so well and did a very comprehensive and fantastic report, such that the leadership saw the report. They were part of that process, and they were like, wow, you did so well. Have you done this before? And before you knew what was happening, the person was promoted to a higher office in a different department and was given a very fantastic role. And looking at those who were at the same level we her, even in that department, the person was paid higher than almost all of the people who were in the same ranking. Why? Because the person took the assignment very seriously, delivered it so excellently, and was noticed by the leadership and promoted accordingly with extra perks, by the way. So, you see, that was an opportunity, but the person never knew, in the real sense of it, never understood that that assignment will bring about that kind of opportunity that came around. But you see, that's why I always say to everyone that comes close to me, this, whatever opportunities you find, in fact, any assignment you're given, always remember one thing: excellence. Deliver with excellence. And that for me is my watchword. So when I go places and I see people do things with mediocrity, mediocre mindset, I just cringe, because I know that they are losing out on opportunity by the way they handle stuff. Another way opportunity shows up is through responsibilities. There are people that just run away from taking responsibilities. They just don't want to do stuff because they feel that, I mean, I'm taking on too much. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. So they dodge. They have this laissez-faire attitude towards responsibilities. It's not my responsibility. Therefore, why should I take on that responsibility? Somebody else should do it. It's not me. See, opportunity is looking around, and when you fail to take responsibility, people will look at you, and when the right time comes for them to engage you, they would say no. This person will always shy away when a responsibility shows up. So, that's another way opportunity actually comes. You better start taking responsibility. I take responsibility for stuff, right? And this is very important. It helps you become a better person. It helps you to see into the future and enjoy the benefits of responsibilities that come up in, opportunities rather, that come clothed as responsibility. And the last one I want to share with you here, one of the ways opportunity shows up is through invitations, right? People can just invite you to come on board something or to join them at an event or stuff like that. That has happened to me. I recall in 2025, late last year, I went to see this friend of mine. I was introduced to him actually by someone else, and we got talking, became close and friends. And he said to me, "What's your program tomorrow?" And I said, "Oh, I have something fixed." He said, "No, I'd like you to be with me tomorrow in an event. There's this event going on. I want you to come walk with me on that event. Just support me and let's see what comes out of it." I didn't look at it from the angle he was even saying. I just saw an invitation to be a part of something big. And I said, okay, cool. I'll be there. I'll play the role. And it happened to be a 3-day event. So I stepped in based on his invitation, and I worked closely with him and his team. And before you know what was happening, from there, I was called by the same organization to do something else for them. And after I did that, they invited me yet again for another bigger deal that paid me close to 8 million or thereabout. It was just the first invitation. I never knew that there was an opportunity lurking around in that singular invite late last year. And that opportunity made a world of difference. That invitation became the opportunity that took me to places and gave me access to even more people that I would have struggled to meet. So, what I'm saying to you this morning on the show is that you will always find opportunities in this form. I just repeat the word conversations. You're going to find opportunities in conversations, in relationships. You're going to find opportunities in problems When you solve problems, you're going to find opportunities in assignments that you're giving and in taking responsibilities and, of course, invitations. So the challenge is that many people are looking for opportunities while ignoring the places where opportunities are usually found. If you look at the 6 things I've listed out to this for you on this show this morning, you will agree with me that if you check your life, the opportunities that have come your way, they came through one of these, right? You just find that these things happen in life, but most people miss out on it because they think that it has to be something clear and they just see it written there. Okay, this is something I need to go for. It doesn't always show up that way. So try as much as you can not to take any of these opportunities or these kinds of scenarios I've listed out for you for granted. You see, this is the way I look at people. For professionals, I've seen that successful professionals, they see an assignment, right? Every successful professional you find, they always see opportunity as an assignment. They just understand that these things happen. For the strategic thinkers believe that it is about visibility. They think about visibility. The entrepreneur sees a problem and a market. So everybody have what they see in all of these things, but the leader sees a challenge and an opportunity to serve. The difference between all of these people is perspective. How do you see opportunity? What do you see when you have an invitation? What do you see when there's a challenge? What do you see when there's a problem? What do you see in taking responsibilities? What do you see when you have an invitation? What do you see in the relationships that you're building today? What do you see in the conversations that you have with people? What you see is a function of your perspective. Don't forget, we're talking about the opportunity mindset. That's what the show is about this morning, and I want you to stay with me even as we dig deeper. I'd like to bring to your knowledge that opportunity, there's something that creates opportunity. And one of the key things that I found that create opportunities in life is communication. Communication creates opportunities. I've been engaged in conversations with people, and they tell me, oh, there's this thing we're looking to do. Can you be of help? Can you be a part of this thing? And I say, oh, well, let's take a look at it. What's it about? And from those conversations, things roll out. So communication is a great tool, and it's something that's very important. And that's why it's important to note that many opportunities are not given. Opportunities are not just given, they are communicated into existence. A lot of opportunities we see in the world today came as a result of conversations that people had, came as a result of things that people did. Now, let me give you some examples. You see, that proposal that you have in your hand that you've written can create an opportunity. I remember once when I had a meeting with a manager of one of the IOCs, and we had that conversation, and he said to me, can you put something together about how we can reach out to people and tell them about the dangers of artisanal refining and all of that? I said, why not? He said, okay, you go do a proposal and bring, let's see what it looks like. So I went back home, spent the 2-3 days, worked on the proposal, put the budgeting together and all the things I needed to do, and I submitted that proposal. It was a proposal. At the end of the day, they took it in, worked on it in their internal systems, and it became a contract valued at a certain amount. I bidded for that contract. I won it. And that proposal became an opportunity for me. In fact, that was one of the ways I made some good money early on, that I used to buy a property, build my first house, and even buy another car and stuff like that. That proposal was the key to that opportunity. Again, a presentation can create opportunity for you, just a presentation, right? I recall that I've done a presentation somewhere before, and that presentation led to me being enlisted as the official facilitator for an organization. And up until now, I handle their retreats every year, just by one single presentation that I made. So that presentation also created an opportunity. It can do same for you if you take it seriously. Another thing that creates opportunity is a negotiation. You could enter into a negotiation with someone or some organization, and they see the skill set you've got, they see the powerful abilities you carry, and that can open doors for you. It's happened to me too. I have had to negotiate for an organization in Ogun State at some point, and after that negotiation, when I came back to Port Harcourt, someone who was on that team recommended me strongly to another organization in Port Harcourt, and I didn't just work for that organization. I eventually got a job as the executive secretary, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. And trust me to it, that opportunity to negotiate showed up again. And because I'd done it before, I was able to do it over and over and over again. So you see, negotiation also creates opportunity. Another thing that creates opportunity is a conversation. Having a conversation with someone, having a conversation with a friend. I have had conversations that have given me opportunity. There are projects that we have been involved in that were born out of a conversation. For example, the African Institute of Public Speaking and Communication Excellence will be branching to Abuja, expanding to Abuja. And that expansion was born out of a conversation that I had with a director in the federal ministry. I don't want to be specific now, but the federal ministry here in Nigeria. And we had that conversation, and the director said to me, okay, if you think you can do this in Abuja, why not? Find time, come to Abuja, let's sit down and talk about it, because you will need to meet certain persons in Abuja, and I can facilitate that. That conversation led me to travel to Abuja some weeks ago. I had the conversation with the person, and she introduced me to another director. That director introduced me to a third director. The third director introduced me to a fourth director. And as I speak to you, I have access to close to 10 directors, and I'll be traveling again to Abuja to firm up the arrangement and fix a date for their investiture and other training programs we want to have. That was born out of a conversation with just one person. That's how interesting life is. One person. And so a conversation can bring about an opportunity. Another way you can also enjoy this is through a pitch. Maybe you have a business idea and you pitch the idea. That pitching of the business idea can create an opportunity for you. So how you handle the pitching is important, because everything I've listed so far, I'm still giving it to you. They can create opportunities for you. And this is why communication is one of the most valuable skills in the modern world today. Do not take communication for granted. Anyone who tells you it doesn't matter is making a big mistake, and is also cheating you out of an opportunity you could have to change your life forever, to change your family trajectory, to change everything about and around you. So communication is no longer just a mere skill. I like to say that communication is a hard currency. People say it's a skill. I agree it's a skill. I teach that, but I have come to realize that it is a hard currency. It's something so valuable that if you have it, a lot can change for you. I have entered rooms because I have the skill and the ability to communicate effectively, and this is very important. All right? So the people who communicate very clearly, they are able to create opportunities for themselves, and they do so consistently. If you can communicate effectively, you will have the privilege of enjoying this consistent opportunity creation for yourself. It's just going to keep happening. But it's not because you are lucky. It's not because you just say things that people like. No, it's mainly because you are visible. It's because you are understood, and it's because you are trusted. It's because you're visible. There's no way you communicate to people and you will not be visible. They will see you. They will hear you. They will trust you. One of the major ways people trust others is when they hear them talk and they say, yes, I believe he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's saying. He has a capacity. So I trust him. That is one of the benefits of effective communication. So now that I've shared with you some of the ways you can create opportunities and how opportunities come, let me now tell you what you need to do, because I am very particular about solution. I'm solution driven. And when I tell you the things that can happen to you and the good things you can benefit from, I like to teach you how you can get that done. So let's talk about the power of strategic positioning. The power of strategic positioning. We're still discussing in this show today the opportunity mindset. So for you to have that kind of mindset, you need to know that there's something called positioning, strategic positioning. One of the greatest lessons I have learned is this: people cannot reward the value they cannot see. People cannot reward the value they cannot see. You see, you may be talented, you may be experienced. A lot of people tell me, but I got skills, I got talent, I know how to do stuff. And yeah, it's okay, I agree. You may be knowledgeable, it's okay. But if people do not understand the value you bring, opportunities may pass you by. People need to understand, because they cannot give they cannot give into something they cannot see. It's impossible. They need to understand the value that you bring. This is where strategic communication becomes critical. Okay, people will tell me, oh, I've tried my best, I've done this, I've done that, and there's nothing more to do. I say, no, there is always something more to do. There's always something more you can do. Listen, strategic communication is very, very critical. And if you understand it the way I shared with you, you would ask yourself the simple question: what can I do? You see, that question, what can I do, is kind of like, okay, let me think it through. Let me see if there is more. But let me help you. I just want to provide that help now. The real question to solving this problem is, can you communicate what you can do? It's not about what can I do. The question now, the real thing is, can you communicate what you can do? Because you see, people will not just believe the fact that you can do stuff, but you need to communicate convincingly that you really can do what you say you can do. Now, I'll tell you a very quick story about this. Now, there was this time my mentor, who is in Abuja now, then he was a manager of a department in an IOC, and he called me up one of the days and said, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm doing great, sir. He said, I want to ask you a quick question. I said, yes, sir, right on, sir. And he said, can you do mementos? And to be honest with you, permit me to be very vulnerable here. To be very honest with you, as at that day and time, I didn't know what mementos meant. I have never, to be honest, I've not heard it before, because one of the things with me is, if I hear a word that I don't know the meaning, I check it in the dictionary quickly. I pull out my dictionary, or I write it down when I get home. I pull out my dictionary and I check it. But in today's world where we have a smartphone and everything is just within reach, I pull out my phone and I check the meaning of that word. I Google it, I check the meaning, or I use the Merriam-Webster dictionary to check. That's my all-time dictionary. And I check it and I get the meaning. But that fateful day, I didn't have the privilege of pulling my phone to check, because I was using the phone to take the call. And he said to me, do you know, can you do mementos? I said, yes, I can. And the man smiled as if he knew that I didn't understand what mementos really was. He said to me, first question, do you know what mementos are? And I said to him, I will find out, but whatever it is, I can do it. And he laughed and said, okay, let me help you. I get where you're going. You don't want to turn down an offer until you know the content of it. But I trust that you can do it. It's just that you don't know what mementos is. And he said to me, mementos are corporate gifts. And the moment he said corporate gifts, I said like branded pens, branded flash drives, branded notebooks, jotter stuff. I started listing. He said you have the total idea of what it is, but you didn't know the singular name that was used for that entire thing you're listing. Those are actually branded corporate gifts. Yes, they are, but they are all called mementos. And I say thank you, sir, for this education. I've become more knowledgeable today. Thanks for your help. But whatever it is, sir, just give me the list and I can deliver on it. He said, I trust you can. Bring 2 samples, 3 or 4 samples of what you can do to the office in 2 days' time. Your time is 8 a.m. in the morning, be in my office, and we're going to look at it. So immediately from where I was driving. I immediately picked up my phone, and tried to look at Google Maps to find out any organization within Port Harcourt at the time that does branded souvenirs. Right? That's the popular word people would call it. So I used the popular word, and it gave me an address somewhere on a bar road, and I turned my car and headed straight to that direction. I got there, told them I wanted some samples. They told me, okay, we can brand pen for you, flash drive, and a flask if you can get one. So fortunately, someone had come to do some branding and offered to sell me one of the flasks that he had. He had three extras, so he said, "Okay, I could sell one to you, so you can have a sample to show them." Amazingly, they branded those for me. I paid, and I took it, made arrangements. 2 days later, I was at his office a few minutes before 8 o'clock, and he called a meeting with his team, introduced me, said I have something to share with the team. I brought out the stuff, shared it with them, showed them the branding I had done, the quality. And someone asked me, "Are you sure this thing is not going to fade?" I said, "I give you a 3-year guarantee on this. It's not going to fade. I know the quality that this organization requires, and I can't go below that." Cut a long story short, I got that contract eventually. And boom, I think that was my first multi-million that I made. But what I'm saying to you is, I was able to communicate the fact that I could do mementos. Even though I didn't know the meaning at the instant, when I was told what it was, I gave comprehensive listing of the things that culminate or form corporate gifts or mementos, as it were. And not only did I communicate effectively that I could do it, I also offered to bring samples, and I was given a date and a time. And I got quality samples. When I got to the office, I spoke to the sample, each one, and the quality they will bring when you give them out as corporate gifts to clients, to stakeholders. And everybody bought in. And they were like, "Yeah, these are good selections you have made. We are approving this." So it's not enough to say, "I can do this," but can you communicate effectively to show that what you say you can do, you really can do? That's something for you to think about. And as we go still on the show, this is about strategic positioning. We're talking about the opportunity mindset. You may have noticed that certain people seem to attract opportunities repeatedly. It isn't magic. Most of the time, they possess three key characteristics, and I want to talk about that. The first is they are curious, and that's called curiosity. Now, curiosity is so important because it makes you ask questions, it makes you learn constantly, and most importantly, it makes you open to opportunities. You see, there's this old age saying, "Curiosity kills the cat." That is for people who don't want to grow. Yes, curiosity, they say, kills the cat, but let me tell you the truth. If you're not curious in life, you will never learn new things. If you're not curious in life, you won't grow. You need to be curious. You need to ask questions. You need to be curious. You need to learn constantly. See, children develop through curiosity. Children grow because they are curious. Children learn because they are curious. So when they say, "Oh, curiosity kills the cat," well, I want to say this. It's not everything that is said that you just buy hook, line, and sinker. You need to interrogate the statement again. So the first thing for those who are always catching in on opportunities is that they are curious. That's the first thing. The second thing I have found about such people who are very, catching in on opportunities all the time is the fact that they are credible. So credibility is the second thing that I want you to note. And that is because people trust them, and their words align with their actions. So when you talk about people who are credible, you find out that they have trust, that they don't have a trust deficiency. They are trusted, people value them, people believe in them because their words align with their actions. So the first thing you need is curiosity. You need to be curious. You need to learn. You need to ask questions. You need to remain open to opportunities, to possibilities. Secondly, you need to be credible. Your words must align with your actions. And that also means that when you are credible, people will trust you. The third and very important one, again, is communication, right? Communication is about knowing how to connect with other people and also knowing how to present ideas. You may have a fantastic idea, but how you present it is going to make or mar that idea. It's going to make it happen or make it go nosedive. So you also need to know how to create confidence. That's part of communication. It's about connection. It's about how you present your ideas. It's about how you create connection and confidence with the people you are engaging with. It's very important. I create a lot of confidence with people. When I talk with people, they trust me. They look at me and they ask me, how did you get here? I open up to them. I'm vulnerable because why do I say I'm vulnerable? Me being vulnerable doesn't mean that um I'm laid back or I'm sheepish or I'm stupid. No. When I say I'm vulnerable is that I tell people things as they are. And sometimes I share my experiences, my pain, my mistakes, and they're like, oh wow, he's a sincere folk. And that communication aspect has helped me to connect more with people. On Saturday, I was doing a presentation, at the men's conference, and I shared with them a story on how I started a business and the business failed and what made the business fail after we had done some analysis and research and finding out why the business failed. And it was clear when I finished sharing, a lot of people felt, oh, so sorry. I said, no, it's not something to be sorry about. It's something to learn from. And I'm sharing it with you so you don't make the same mistake when you start a business. That notwithstanding, I've moved on, gotten onto something better, and I'm moving fine. I'm doing okay. I've started another business and yet another, and they're all doing okay. And the Institute is here and we're waxing strong. So this is important, your ability to communicate. So the three very essential things you need to attract opportunities is your curiosity, your credibility, and your ability to communicate effectively. These three qualities are very powerful. They create opportunities for you over time. So now let me show you something that we're doing in the Institute right now. This week, 25th and 26th of this month, which is Thursday and Friday, there is an opportunity that is just days away. And this opportunity is something I don't want you to miss out on. I've been talking about it for the last 1 month, and I think that we have climaxed to the very week of that opportunity. And this is about the sales communication and deal closing masterclass. So you need to be a part of this masterclass. Why? This is a masterclass that will be that's designed for the following persons. It's an intensive training for business owners, for entrepreneurs, for sales professionals, and of course, executives, consultants, public speakers, ministry leaders, by the way, and anyone whose success depends on influencing decisions. So if you find yourself in any of this category that I've mentioned, then it behoves on you to be a part of the sales communication and deal closing masterclass. Now, let me tell you something you would gain if you attend. Some of the very important things you would learn. Number one, you will learn the psychology of buyer decisions. How do people take decisions to buy? Secondly, you will understand the high impact sales conversations. There are certain ways you communicate and you close deals. If you miss out on those, you struggle. Number three, we're going to look at persuasive communication techniques. How do I speak to you to make you buy into what I am selling, whether product, service, or what have you? We're also going to talk about how you can handle objections strategically and making a no become a yes. Yes, there is a law of averages, right? Which tells you pretty much that maybe you pitch to 3 or 5, you sell one, you close one, and all that. The law of averages are there. But we're also going to step it up to teach you how to handle those objections and the strategies you can utilize to handling objections. And then we'll also talk about the deal closing framework. What are the things you need to do to close deals? I recall when I was talking to some guys in the insurance industry, they were telling me their stories, and I said, this is where you would have closed that deal. You missed it out here, and so you prolonged your conversation beyond this point. This is what would have happened if you had done this and that, or said this to this person. And the lady was like, wow, I had that feeling, but I just felt maybe it was too early. I say, you see, sometimes it's about understanding body language and the art of nonverbal cue. The person shows it to you, but you don't know if you don't understand it. So we're going to be doing all of that. And we also will teach you how confidence building communication skills can help you be a better salesperson. So these are the things packed up for this sales communication and deal closing masterclass. And many people don't lose opportunities because they lack value. No, they lose opportunities because they cannot effectively communicate that value. And this is very important. And that's why this masterclass is something you shouldn't miss out on. So if you're interested, just check the comment right now on Grace Impact Radio Mixlr. You will see the number of the administrator posted there. Get that number, send a WhatsApp message or put a call through and get all the details you need for registration. This session will be happening for 2 days, and it's going to be on the 25th and the 26th of this month, Thursday and Friday this week precisely. You don't want to miss out on this. Well, for those who will make that call today, we're going to do a 20% discount for everyone that's going to indicate interest in this training today on the show within the next 24 hours. So my time check is 10:45 or thereabout. So from now till midnight, right? You have this opportunity open for you. 20% off for everyone listening to me on this show on Grace Impact Radio. You can call that number right now and be a part of this very great opportunity that we're bringing your way. Remember, we're talking about the opportunity mindset. So don't miss out on this one, because again, it is something that we're bringing to you, and we've given you an offer that nobody else have. So if you want to increase your influence, you want to improve your confidence and strengthen your ability to convert conversations into results, this masterclass is obviously for you. Don't miss it. Be a part of it. And yes, the next opportunity may already be here. Let me leave you with a challenging thought. What if the opportunity you're praying for is already around you? I want you to take a break and think about that. What if it's hidden inside a relationship? Pause again and think. What if the opportunity you're praying for is in a conversation that you're going to have today? Think again. What if the opportunity that you've been asking God to send your way is a skill that you need to develop, and you have failed to develop that skill? That's what's holding you back. Or perhaps it's a room that you need to enter. I sense that I need to go to Abuja. I need to make the expenses, but I need to connect with certain people. If I must move this institute into Abuja, phone calls will not cut it. I need physical meetings. I need to make that sacrifice. That was the opportunity that opened up for me, but I had to take it. So what if yours is in a room you need to enter? Think about it. What if it's a message that you need to communicate to somebody? I'm dropping questions that should make you think and ponder, questions that should help you to say, okay, I'm going to go and grab this opportunity. You see, many people spend their lives waiting for opportunities. The truly successful people learn to recognize and create opportunities. And I am one of such people that have learned that art of creating opportunities, because I know that you don't sit down and wait for opportunities to come. It never happens. Oh, it drops on your laps. You think that's where it happens? No, you go create it. You go for it. You've got to create it. All right? So as we close today's show, people, remember this. Opportunities rarely announce themselves. They reveal themselves to prepared minds. And on this show today, Find Your Voice with the Oxygen, we have been able to share these thoughts with you, because here, communication becomes influence, and influence creates opportunity. And guess what? Opportunity creates impact. Before I run off, I want you to remember this, that the opportunity you're looking for may already be looking for you. The opportunity you're looking for may already be looking for you. Maybe in that relationship, maybe in that room, maybe in that conversation. Think about it. And as a way of signing out, I want to say to you until next week, keep learning, keep growing, and keep finding your voice. This is The Oxygen. Wherever I go, life flows. I am Dr. Emmanuel David Dogba. Cheers. See you around. Bye-bye.